we're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you is Thursday, July 31st here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Cheska Hong.
Happy last day of July, everyone.
Happy last day of July.
Yes.
So Kangmunju's with us.
Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Good to have you. So both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's Thursday, which means we're going to begin with our keyword news, where we look at a story that has been gaining traction over the past 24 hours. Today's keyword is K-healthcare. Foreign visitors to Korea are now spending more on dermatology and plastic surgery than on traditional tourist activities like shopping. A report released on Monday by the Korea Health Industry Development Institute showed that spending by foreign visitors was highest at dermatology clinics and plastic surgery centers, outpacing spending at department stores, duty-free shops, and restaurants. The number of foreign patients who received medical treatment in Korea last year, excluding repeat visits, surged by around 93% compared to the year before. And including repeat visits, there was a total of 1.7 million foreign patient visits last year, marking the first time since 2009 that the figure has surpassed the 1 million milestone. So, Cheska, what do you think is driving the surge in foreign patients coming to Korea for dermatology and plastic surgery? What might Korea need to do to keep continue attracting these foreign visitors?
We have definitely known for K-contents. So I think K-contents, K-fashion, and K-beauty has actually been very effectively advertised through media contents. And people are becoming more and more aware of the high standard at which we operate. Also, I did hear that the price is much, much lower and affordable compared to the West, which could be another driving force. And I think in order to keep the flow of these medical tourists from coming in, I think the first and foremost priority is safety. Because this is a medical operation, and there are some non-licensed operations or false advertisement that try to attract people who don't live here and may not have as much information. So definitely ensuring the safety, not only for the sake of our international public image, but really for the safety of the people who are coming to Korea for the best of their experiences.
Right, and I've also noticed on social media, now more doctors are on social media and they provide like analysis of what these celebrities or influencers have done. So I think a lot of times, a lot of these celebrities are often K-pop stars.
Yes, yes.
And then also, like you said, it's all the procedures are more cheaper to get in Korea a lot of times, which is why I think a lot more foreign visitors are coming as well. So what are your thoughts on this, Minju?
Yeah, I do completely agree with Cheska. There may be a variety of reasons, but I believe the global popularity of K-pop or the K-dramas has played a significant role here. Korean celebrities have become so-called wannabes or like aspiring figures for many global fans these days. And it's not uncommon for people to bring the photos of their celebrities and asking plastic surgeons to be, I want to look like them. So as these entertainers gain international recognition, Korea's cosmetic surgery industry seems to be gaining popularity along with their celebrities. And if this reasoning holds true, it may be worth considering policies or initiatives that further promote the globalization of K-entertainment industry that could more like at a national level to globalize this entertainment. Yeah,
a lot of the videos go viral of doctors saying, oh, this is like the #1 female celebrity that people, like photos that people bring up as well. But of course, obviously, like Cheska said, safety is really the most important thing.
Yeah.
So with Korea quickly becoming a top destination for medical tourism, especially in skincare and cosmetic procedures, it's clear that health and beauty are playing a bigger role in Korea's image abroad. Whether this trend continues will likely depend on how Korea balances demand, quality, and accessibility moving forward. And that concludes our keyword news for this Thursday. So as we head into the final stretch of the work week, we're diving into a topic that's become increasingly important for many of us, what it really means to take care of ourselves in today's fast-paced world. So let's take a look at the screen to learn more. It's no longer just the older generation that's into healthy habits. The younger generation is stepping up too, and with good reason. More and more young people today are facing health challenges and illnesses that were once considered issues mainly for older adults. With this significant shift underway, it's crucial to explore what's driving these changes and how young people are adapting their daily lives to manage their health in new and innovative ways. Today on News Generation, we'll take a closer look at this evolving landscape of youth health, examining not only what's happening here in Korea, but also how young people around the world are approaching wellness. So as we just saw in the video, these days more and more people are starting to think seriously about their health, especially young people, not just when they're sick, but as part of their daily lives. From fitness trends to mental health awareness, it feels like health has become a big part of how millennials and Gen Zs define a good life. And with so many reports saying that young people are actually facing more health challenges than their parents did, it really makes you think twice about your own health condition. So let's start with a quick check-in. It's been a scorching summer, Cheska. How have you been coping health-wise?
I mean, definitely sweating a lot. And
relatable?
Yeah, even this morning, just coming into work. Luckily, no summer cold or ailment just yet, knock on wood. But I try my very best to limit air conditioning at home because I think that's also very important, regulating your bodily temperature. And as we saw in the VCR, I'm definitely part of the younger generation that have a very keen interest in my health concerns. So I take vitamin supplements like B and C, which are really good for effective recovery. Also, another tip for summer is I try to take cold shower from time to time just to lower the heated body temperature. I feel like it regulates the blood flow a little better. Yeah.
Right. I think taking care of your health is important year-round, but I've heard actually from a friend that there have actually been more cases of stomach flus these days as well.
It's very important, yes.
So it's really important to be safe. So any thoughts on this, Jinju?
This summer truly feels even more intense than last year. So I've had to spend quite a bit of time outdoors recently, and I think I'm very thankful to be sitting here, surviving myself from this scorching weather. And anyways, hosting a medical program for about 2 years, I've received health questions from viewers all of the age groups. And interestingly, recently, I've noticed more younger individuals asking me about the questions that related to health concerns. And I do think this kind of shows how much millennials and Gen Zs consider their health, as Sujin just mentioned.
So what are some questions that you received from these young people that kind of stood out to you?
Definitely, we're going to talk about it later, but obesity, yeah.
Obesity was a big one, which is, it's kind of interesting. So it used to be that chronic illnesses were something that we associated with older generations, but these days it seems like more and more people in their 20s and 30s are living with long-term health issues. But is this true, Cheska? Are more young people actually getting more sick?
So this was something really interesting when I was preparing for this episode today, because at first glance, it is really hard to kind of wrap our heads around it. Just logically speaking, younger people are supposed to be more immune to a lot more things and healthier in general. But the numbers tell a slightly different story, which we're going to take a look. The number of young people in their 20s and 30s who are diagnosed with chronic disease are increasing at a faster rate than that of much older age groups. So let's take a look at the screen for specific changes and figures. Now, if you look at for diabetes, in 2022, it was up more than 70%, reaching over 130,000. Now, during that same period, high blood pressure patients increased by 45%, and those diagnosed with hyperlipidemia more than doubled. Now, the interesting thing is, when we compare these figures and numbers to those in their 50s and 60s, it is even more surprising because that age group only increased less than 70% for diabetes and just slightly over 30% in high blood pressure compared to what we just saw in the age group. And Suji, we kind of talked about it before the episode, but if you really think about it, the 50s and 60s age group is our parents, and the 20s and 30s are us, who are vibrant and active in the society, and we should be healthier. But if you look at the rate at which it increases, you realize that our generation is increasing even slightly faster. So this is something definitely interesting to note, yeah.
Right, I think there are certain stuff that I actually can relate to my parents as well, so we'll get into that a bit later.
Yes.
But diseases typically associated with old age that we just talked about, you show the figures for that, are apparently also showing up in people in their 20s and 30s. So can you tell us more about this, Minju?
Yeah, definitely. So degenerative arthritis, once considered a condition of old age, is increasingly affecting the MZ generation these days. In fact, the number of patients in their 20s and 30s diagnosed with this disease rose from 164,000 in 2012 to 202,000 in 2022, making a 22% increase. There's a new phrase circulating. Instead of frozen shoulder in 50s, meaning 50견, now people refer to it as frozen shoulder in your 20s, meaning 20견. So having personally hosted a medical program that actually covered this specific condition, I like to briefly expand on some of the symptoms here. So this disease typically affects joints in the neck, lower back, and knees. And its common symptoms are joint pain and stiffness, and it's kind of tend to be very short-lived, meaning that it usually occurs in the morning and for about like 1 to 2 minutes, and since you start moving, it gets better. So if you begin to experience these kind of symptoms repeatedly, it's always best to visit the doctor promptly, because early treatment can significantly slow down the progression of this disease.
So I don't take bone health lightly because I can relate to everything you've said. Like
Yeah.
I like pain in my neck and shoulders, they just don't go away. And also my waist tends to hurt. And this happens like when I sleep too.
You're a perfect testament to our episode
No,
today.
it's so true. Like, so every time I get up in the morning, like I feel a slight pain in my waist.
Yes.
But then it does go away after a bit.
You're exactly what you described in terms of the symptoms.
There you
Sounds
go.
like that. Everything you said, I'm like living that right now. So I can tell it's a very serious issue.
And it makes a bit more sense because, as we talked about, our younger generation spend much more time sitting down and working in our laptops. Especially you, like you work in the studio and broadcast network all day. So it makes sense that a lot of young people will be suffering a lot more from degenerative arthritis, which was actually something that older people would actually get.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why it's so important to have good posture. But that's, sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy.
Not at all, not at all.
So these days we're hearing a lot more about the health challenges young women are facing as well. So Jessica, can you tell us what kinds of issues seem to be the most common among young women?
Yes. So for young female, data shows that there was an increase in women suffering from hair loss. Now, according to the National Health Insurance Service, for the past 4 years, from 2020 to the June of last year, a total of just over 1 million patients received hospital treatment for alopecia. Now, among them, about 17% of them were women under 30. And I can actually attest to this because a lot of my female friends have suffered or are actually worried about hair loss. And this is a conversation that we do have. But the interesting thing is, unlike the older generation where genetics seem to play the biggest part, my experience is that our female friends, they start losing hair or have worries about hair loss, due to the stress caused at work and at home. So it's more caused by psychological rather than genetics. Yeah.
And also because a lot of hair products these days, they tend to have a lot of chemicals as well, like hairsprays, for example,
absolutely right.
can also be really detrimental to our scalp health. So what about young men, Moonju? Are there any health trends or conditions you're noticing more frequently among them?
Yeah, so in case of men, obesity has become a significant concern. So among the MZ generations, roughly 1 out of every 2 individuals, which is very surprising, is dealing with the weight-related issues. So more specifically, a recent study conducted in Korea revealed that among males aged from 19 to 39, 45% had a body mass index or BMI of 25 or higher, classifying them as obese, and 29% were in the pre-diabetic stage, and lastly, 31% were in the pre-high blood pressure stage.
Right, so obviously BMI doesn't tell you everything, but I think it's true. I have a friend in the medical field, and he was saying how there has been a good number of increase in number of patients that have come in, worried and stressed about their health, and their, and their weight is to a point where it kind of can detrimentally impact their health. These are all very serious issues that's actually really happening. So it's clear that both young men and women are facing a range of health challenges, some that we might expect to be more common among the older generation. And it really shows how health concerns today are shifting and how chronic conditions are becoming part of daily life much earlier than we used to think. So to get a better sense of what people are most worried about, we conducted a poll on the Arirang News YouTube channel where we asked, what's your biggest health concern right now? And here are the answers we received. So chronic diseases were the most common health concern among respondents, accounting for 38% of answers. This was followed by obesity at 32%, hair loss at 19%, and arthritis at 11%, highlighting a wide range of issues affecting individuals across both physical appearance and long-term health. So to better understand why health issues are increasingly affecting millennials and Gen Zs and what can be done to prevent or manage those issues, we're joined by a medical expert specializing in internal medicine, and that's coming up right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Dr. David Kwok, an assistant professor at Suncheon University's International Clinic and is a specialist in internal medicine. Hi, Dr. Kwok. Thanks so much for connecting with us today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So why do you think health problems are increasing among millennials and Gen Zs?
Well, the first thing that came into my mind that's rather symbolic is the advancement of technology. So as we've experienced in the past decade or so, the advancement in technology led to a lot of delivery foods. We can already attest to using the apps to order foods, not having to go to either 회식 or go to other restaurants on the outside to consume food. So I think that took a huge part in affecting our health and our health behavior. So we don't necessarily get to go outside to walk or even take a moment to exercise. So what I want to iterate here is that what concerns the chronic health issues, even in all generations, not just the younger generations, is that the need for aerobic exercises. And it, by definition, it means that somebody who's doing the exercise has to run out of breath while doing it. And we're clearly lacking it. But with the advancement of technology, especially in regards to delivery foods, I think that is affecting our health.
Doctor, you saw the figures. So apparently younger people are increasing at a faster rate with health problems at an earlier age than previous generations. And what are some potential consequences and challenges that might arise as a result?
Well, I see it from two different ways. In an individual scale, obviously, the younger chronic illnesses start in people, that person is going to suffer for longer duration, costing more money, but also in health regards, they are going to persevere managing the illness through the longer periods in their lives. But in a macro scale, it becomes a societal problem also because the more portion of the population be involved in the management of chronic illness, obviously that much money has to go into medical care for them, which has to come out of somewhere. So that is also going to affect the society as a whole as well.
Yeah, I see. And our last question for you today, doctor, is I know you kind of mentioned briefly, but what do you think individuals and society can do to help prevent these health problems among millennials and Gen Zs?
So let me be clear, I'm not going to ask people to stop ordering delivery foods on their apps, but we should bring it forth maybe as a societal topic that we need to be more aware of what kinds of food we consume, but also, make moments for ourselves to actually go outside and exercise. As I mentioned, aerobic exercises are the one special type of exercise that is involved with chronic illnesses. There is an inverse relationship to the occurrence of the chronic illness. So two things. One is that we need to be more aware of how we consume food, such as in taking actions to go outside or cook ourselves healthy foods. Number two, taking moments for ourselves to go outside and exercise.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today, and I'll make sure to go for a run today after I eat.
I'll try that too. Thank you.
So we just heard from a medical expert who shed light on why younger generations are facing more health challenges earlier in life and what that means for both individuals and society as a whole. So how are younger generations personally managing their health these days? What kinds of habits or routines are they adopting to stay fit and healthy, Cheska?
I think the common theme for our generations as health trend is healthy but not guilty. So we still want it to be pleasurable because we understand that health is something that we have to continue for a very long time. It's not a fad. It's not just a diet plan that you pick up and then abandon like 3 days. In Korea, we call it 작심삼일. Like we last for 3 days and then we're done. So I think the new social media trend for a lot of these health is #challenge. By challenge, I mean it's more of a game. It's like a new challenge to try out, a new quest to break. So it keeps us entertained, but it really keeps us going. So our generation generation is definitely trying to understand that continuity is much more important than a quick, interesting trend or fad. Yeah.
And these hashtags show that really wellness is becoming a huge trend these days. So what other health habits or wellness trends are catching on with younger people these days, Moonjin? Are there any unique or surprising ways they're trying to stay healthy?
Yeah, the MZ generation is showing a growing interest in slow aging. Indeed, those in their 20s are showing the greatest interest among all age groups these days. And in order to maintain their youth, they focus on fiber-rich diets and supplements that help regulate blood sugar levels.
That makes sense because there's so many cosmetic products that are targeted towards slow aging as well.
Yeah.
It's like a keyword of our
Exactly.
year. Yeah.
It's like everyone. So we talked extensively about what's like in Korea, but Cheska, how are young people in other countries staying healthy? Are there any trends that are taking off overseas?
Oh, absolutely. Because I've lived in the States for almost over 10 years. And even back in the day, health, well-being, whatever you call it, whatever title you give it, has been the biggest trend globally in the West. I remember almost 10 years ago, kale was already so big in California. Like almond milk, dairy supplements, from eating to workout routine was already quite hot and happening in the States. So it's no surprise that this trend just continues. But I think the focus of what we, consider important and healthy just changes. Sometimes it's avocado, sometimes it's like the new MCT oil, sometimes it's like a high protein diet. But I think the theme, as Sujin, you mentioned, is that to eat as less processed as possible and trying to have like a low, sugar levels and things like that. And fasting has also become very big to regulate and heal the body system quite recently. And mindfulness eating is another term that I kind of saw a few years back that is kind of catching on.
Right, I can attest to this popularity in these trends as well because I also do intermittent fasting,
yes,
like
that's
the
right.
16-8 rule where you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat during the 8-hour window.
So even those have a lot of variety, right? The 16 to 8,
Right.
the 14 to like 5, 4. So there's a lot of variation.
There's so many of them these days. So are there any health practice or wellness trends from other countries that stand out or are becoming popular among the younger generation, wouldn't you?
Yeah, in countries like France and Germany, vegetarianism has become a rising trend, leading to increased popularity of Korean dishes such as bibimbap. In China, the MZ generation is showing heightened interest in nutritional supplements. And recently, many are turning to healthcare products as a proactive way to manage their well-being.
So today we've explored how health challenges are evolving for younger generations, the unique issues they're facing, and the many ways they're working to stay well, both here and around the world. It's clear that taking care of our health is more important than ever, and learning from each other can help us all live healthier and happier lives. We're also conducting a program survey that includes News Generation until August 17th to better meet our viewers' expectations. So please visit us at www.arirang.com or on the Arirang TV mobile app to share your valuable feedback. And by participating, you'll also have a chance to win Bluetooth earbuds and exclusive K-pop merchandise. So this brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Big thanks to Cheska.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Good to have you, and Moonju
Thanks for having me today.
for joining us today. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have the best day. We are
News Generation.